Let's turn to our scripture this morning. Matthew chapter 27, verses 56 through 60. And again today, as we're celebrating, as we are remembering, as we're commemorating Resurrection Day. And what it means to us as believers. It's really, this day is unique to anything else in the world that we celebrate. We celebrate birthdays, we celebrate anniversaries. Amen. We celebrate the lives of those who've gone before us, those who've been movers, shakers, pioneers, groundbreakers, achievers. We celebrate all of those different kinds of people, but we celebrate Jesus because he's done something that no one else has done. He gave his life. Oh, well, other people have given their lives. Soldiers have given their lives. Innocent people have given their lives, so that somebody else might live. Other people have done that. But he was raised on the third day. Huh. And he sits in heaven right now at the right hand of the Father, interceding on our behalf. Amen. Amen. For as great as Dr. Martin Luther King was and everything that he accomplished, he's not our advocate. He's not our Savior. We appreciate everything that he did. Everything that he did. He went through some things. He suffered. He took some beatings. He got arrested. He did a lot so that there would be an equality in the United States. Amen. And we appreciate that. And for as enduring as the legacy is, that could still be taken away.
Amen. Amen.
It could still be taken away. But what Jesus did is irrevocable. There's no authority out there. There's no power that can take it away from us. There's nothing that can come in and say, well, you know what? I'm going to pass a bill and salvation is no more. Sorry for you. It just ain't happening. Just ain't happening. Because of what we're celebrating happened on today, the resurrection of Jesus. Matthew chapter 28, 27, starting in verse 56 through 60. I'm going to read that aloud to you. 57 through 60. And it says, as evening approached, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who had himself become a disciple of Christ. Going to Pilate, he asked for Jesus' body, and Pilate ordered that it be given to him. Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and placed it in his own new tomb that he had cut out of the rock. He rolled a big stone in front of the entrance to the tomb and went away. And Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting there opposite the tomb. Amen. Goodness. Jesus has already gone through all the crucifixion. He's already been through all the persecution. And just the very thought of everything that he had to go through is just wrenching to my gut, wrenching to my heart. He went through all of that for me. He went through all of that for me. He went through all of that for, not just for me, but for that person that I have trouble looking at, that I have trouble loving sometimes. But as much as he did it for me, he did it as much for them. He went through all of that. Suffered, bled, and died, but was raised again. As much for me as for anybody else. But here it is. Joseph of Arimathea, he went and requested of Pilate for the body. Put the body, wrapped it in a clean linen cloth. He cut out his own tomb, preparing for his own burial. Something says because Joseph of Arimathea had become a follower of Christ. When he took the body and prepared it and put it in there and sealed the tomb, it doesn't really say in there if he knew that he was just loaning Jesus the tomb. It doesn't say if he was or not. But when Joseph put him in there and sealed the tomb, he did everything that you're supposed to do for a deceased body.
Right.
He did everything for. But Jesus had let him know in back in chapter 21. He says, "But I'm going to give my life, but on the third day I will rise again." He let him know. He let them know. They didn't know how it was going to happen. They didn't know. But with this deceased body, they treated it just like every other one. They put him in there. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, who is the mother of the mother of James and John, she traveled with them as they went. Your mama's boys, if you will. No, they weren't. They weren't. I'm just kidding. But Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, they were there. And he seals the tomb. Let's go to verse 62. It says, the next day, the one after preparation day, the chief priests and the Pharisees went to Pilate. "Sir," they said, "we remember that while he was still alive, that deceiver said, 'After 3 days I will rise again.' So give the order for the tomb to be made secure until the third day. Otherwise, his disciples may come to steal the body and tell the people that he has been raised from the dead. This last deception will be worse than the first." So the Pharisees, the chief priests and the Pharisees, as hard-headed and as stiff-necked as they were, something Jesus said sank in. Because they remembered his words. He said on the third day, he will rise again. So for as hard-headed and as stiff-necked as they were, as satisfied as they should have been that he was dead now, it wasn't enough. Because somewhere inside of them, they knew, they feared, because of all the miracles that they saw him do. Not just because of all the miracles, but because of the teaching that he imparted to people. So something inside of him said, well, you know what? He said a lot of stuff. He did a lot of things. But he also said he was going to be raised on the third day. And if we heard it, we know he taught it to the disciples. And what we want to do is prevent the disciples from coming and perpetrating a fraud. So, Pilate, we need you to put guards around the tomb to make sure that the disciples can't come in. Because they said, this last deception will be worse than the first. So they're trying to preserve their word. They're trying to make sure that Jesus can be proved a liar. But in all their preparation, trying to prove Jesus a liar, in all their preparation, trying to preserve themselves and justify what it is the act that they just committed, all they did was help prove the truth. Because they sealed the tomb. When it says they sealed the tomb, they placed a mark on that tomb so that if the stone was moved, the seal would be broken. It's like they put crime scene tape on there. Do not cross this line. So that if anybody moved that stone, now, but see, that was the last resort. Because the first resort was Roman guards. Roman guards didn't play. Roman guards were the baddest in the land. You had to come with something to defeat Roman guards. They put Roman guards all around. They sealed the tomb. They wanted to make sure that no fraud was committed. They really did God a favor. So they in their efforts to disprove, they just did God a favor. They proved to themselves Take a guard, Pilate answered. Go make the tomb secure as you know how. So they went and made the tomb secure by putting a seal on the stone and posting a guard. So now they've done everything in their power to make sure that the body of Jesus doesn't disappear. To make sure that no man can go in, steal, sneak the body out, and try to perpetuate a lie. Good job. Way to go, Pilate. Chief priests and the Pharisees. Good job, yo. Well done. Well done. Moving into chapter 28. Best laid plans of mice and men. You can't stop what God is trying to do. Your best laid plans, your greatest efforts, you cannot stop what God has said will happen. If He's purposed it, if He's put it in place, set the wheels in motion, nothing any man can do can stop or disprove what God has done, has said will happen. Chapter 28, verse 1. After the Sabbath, at dawn, on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to look at the tomb. And there was a violent earthquake, for an angel of the Lord came down from heaven, and going to the tomb, rolled back the stone and sat on it. There was an earthquake. This angel came down from heaven with such power and authority that the earth shook. The earth itself could not handle the heavenly presence. He moved the stone and sat on it, just so there would be no question. Moved it and sat on it. He didn't go sit inside. He didn't run away. He had no fear of the guards. He moved the stone and he sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothes were white as snow, and the guards were afraid of him, and they shook and they became like dead men. These fearless guards, the baddest in the land. Don't come against a Roman soldier. Don't come against a Roman centurion. You don't stand up against a Roman centurion. One angel comes down from heaven, moves a stone and sits on it, and these baddest men in the land shook with fear and became like dead men. Dead men don't move. Dead men don't see anything. Dead men don't breathe. Dead men tell no tales, as they say. They became like dead men. They probably passed out. Oh, boom, gone. He ain't had to do anything to them. They've gone out. These bad men. And the angel said to the woman, do not be afraid. For I know that you're looking for Jesus, who was crucified. He's not here. He has risen just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples. He has risen from the dead and is going ahead of them into Galilee. Then you will see him. Now I have told you. These big bad Roman guards saw the angel, saw him move the stone. They passed out. The Marys chilling. They didn't pass out. They didn't run. The big bad soldiers passed out. Big bad soldiers that were there on orders of Pilate. But Mary Magdalene, Mary, the other Mary. Let's call her Mary, not the room, but Mary. They were there. Children just hanging out. They saw it. And as angels do, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I know you came looking for Jesus. No, but he's not here. Because everybody knew. The angels in heaven knew. Everybody knew. Jesus let everybody know. You know what? I'm going to die, but on the third day, I'm going to rise again. And it's not contingent upon Pilate. It's not contingent upon anybody. It's not contingent upon these soldiers out here. It's not contingent upon anybody. It's contingent upon the fact that God said it was going to happen. That was the only criteria necessary for Jesus to rise again. That he said it was going to happen. And God purposed for it, God needed it to happen, and it happened. They couldn't prevent it. And every effort that they had only served to help prove that could have only have been God. It could only have been God. If they hadn't posted the guards, if they hadn't sealed it, then that would have left room for somebody to say, well, you know what? They came and they moved the stone. Somebody moved the stone and put it back. But they provided the proof. Good job, thank you. CSI would thank them. Crime scene investigators, come on. Well, we got a broken seal, we got a stone moved. Yeah, we know that no man did this. But Mary and Mary, standing there, they saw the same thing the guards. The guards passed out. Mary's, they stand there. He's not here. He is risen, just as he said. Come and see where he lay. Invites them in so they can see for themselves that Jesus isn't there. He's alive. He has risen. After you come in, he says, come and see the place where he's laid. Then go quickly and tell his disciples that he has risen from the dead and is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him. Now I have told you. They didn't have to say anything. They didn't have to tell the angel anything. The angel showed up. He already knew what the situation was. The guards were there trying to stop him. Even though they didn't know that they were there to try to stop him. But the earthquake and the moving of the stone and then popping up on top of the stone took care of them. He looks at them, he knows why they're there. You're looking for Jesus who was crucified. But he's not here. Think about that. Jesus had. He had spoken of his death. He had spoken that he was going to. And it's one thing to hear it. Over and over again as he declared it, as he taught, as he spoke it. It's one thing to just continue to hear it. But it's likely that when they heard of his death, when they heard of his leaving them, when they heard of him expressing mortality, the mortality of his body, that's all that they focused on. Was the death. They didn't look forward to the resurrection. They had nothing to refer to. He raised Lazarus, but if he's dead, who's going to raise him? Quandary. So they didn't have a whole lot of reference to go on. But they had his word saying that it was going to happen. They had his word saying it was going to happen. Even the chief priests and the Pharisees remembered that he had said it. Destroy this temple. I will build it up in 3 days. I will rise again in 3 days. Even the chief priests and the Pharisees, something about that saying stuck with them. To where they felt like they had to try to prevent the falsification of it from happening. They had no idea that the angel was going to come. If they had known, they probably would have put more men on there. Put more stones. Put a tighter seal. But the angel would just had a bigger earthquake. Now we just more passed out bodies. For Mary and Martha to look at. Excuse me, Mary and Mary to look at. But as they were there, just watching. He says, I know you're here looking for Jesus. This is where you will find him. This is where you will find Jesus. You came here looking for him, but this is where you will find him. What was declared, what is said, shall come to pass, has come to pass. Don't look for him where you expect to find him now, based on what he was. But this is where you can find him now, based on who he is now. Mary and Mary, they were there because they wanted to see Jesus. Because they had a desire to see Jesus. They didn't pass out when the angel came. They didn't run. The guards, when the guards came, they didn't fear for their lives and, back and go try to hide. But they had a desire to see Jesus in spite of. They sat outside of a sealed tomb, a sealed, guarded tomb, because they had a desire to see Jesus. And that desire to see Jesus, the angel could speak to them based on that desire that he could see in their faces, that he could see in their countenance that they wanted to see Jesus. And that desire, that countenance, he says, well, come on in and look. He's not in here. He's not in here. Don't be sad. Don't be sad. Don't be dismayed. He's not there. He's not there. But this is where you can go. Go tell the disciples that he's not dead. Go tell the disciples that he's not dead. Go tell the disciples that he has gone ahead of you into Galilee. Then you will see him. Now, so the women hurry away from the tomb, afraid yet filled with joy. And they ran to tell the disciples. Suddenly Jesus met them. Greetings, he said. They came to him, clasped his feet, and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me. He repeated what the angel said. As soon as they did what the angel said, to go tell them, to go tell the brothers. They could have stood there, the angel, they could have stood there in the presence of the angel, just, dumbfounded. We don't know what to do. Even though he just said, go tell my brothers, they could have been so overwhelmed with the situation. They just spun out. Like some of us might have been. Might have been. With their desire to see Jesus. And the angel wasn't tricking them. He wasn't just trying to get rid of them. Clean up the mess and, just go hurry up about his way. But their desire to see Jesus. Go tell the disciples. So they ran to tell the disciples. They ran. Go tell boom, and they're gone. They're not wearing running shoes. They're not dressed for athleticism. They're not dressed for any of that. But whatever it is they had on, they had to get it done. They had to get it done. That strong desire. And here they are, they haven't even gotten to where it is they're supposed to be. Jesus appears to them. Greetings. Just, how y'all doing? Like nothing happened. Just, here he is. The last thing they saw of him, he was wrapped in linens, put in a sealed tomb. And they're running to tell everybody, guess what? He's not dead. He's not dead. He's like, you know what? They need a little bit more. An empty tomb's not enough. They need a little bit more. Need a little bit more. Here they are running. Here's Jesus. What's happening? Greetings. All right then. It's me. Don't worry. I got this. It's all good. And the first thing they did was worship at his feet. fell at his feet and clasped onto his feet and worshiped him. Oh my goodness. Oh, how that must have felt to them. Oh, the experience that must have been to them. Mary Magdalene already has had her worship moment with Jesus. Mary, the mother of the other Mary, they call her in the Bible. She's followed him. She's watched. She's seen all of this go down. Everything that happened. She has seen all of this. But to watch him crucified, to watch him go through everything, to see him give up the ghost, be lowered down off that cross, to be wrapped in the linens, to be placed in that sealed tomb. There's an excitement and a joy to see an empty tomb. There's an excitement and a joy there. There's an excitement and a joy. When you're running to tell people about an empty tomb, there's something added to the story when we saw an empty tomb. Oh yeah, really? Okay, now we got skepticism. Even though there's Roman guards around it, even though the stone, even though it was sealed, somebody can still have doubt. Thomas. But it's another thing when you can say, I saw Jesus. We saw him. The angel told us to come and tell you. And before we could even get here, Jesus himself showed up. And we fell at his feet and worshiped him. Woo! Goodness. Goodness. So, and Jesus said, do not be afraid. To me, that was almost an unnecessary statement, because they're already clasped on his feet, worshiping him. They've already just said, you know what, we're loving on you. Thank you for who you are. Because of who you are, we worship you, Lord. We thank you. They already fell at his feet. They're already loving on him for who he is. Just as a formality, Jesus says, oh, don't be afraid. So, go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me. The whole thing is that Mary followed Jesus. The whole crucifixion, the whole everything. They were there. There were others that were there as well, but these two were there. These two that they watched Joseph put the body in. They watched Joseph seal the tomb. They watched the soldiers come. They watched the soldiers seal the tomb. They watched the soldiers stand guard. They watched all of that. And all of that was out of their desire. Their desire for Jesus.
Amen.
The desire for Jesus. You see, we have this thing, this declaration that we like to make. Oh Lord, I need you now. Oh Lord, I need your presence. Oh Lord, I need. Oh Lord, I need. God has already taken care of. I need.
All right.
His presence. To the unbeliever, he's taken care of it. All they have to do is confess their sins. They have to come into the realization of their need. They know their need. Deny it as they will, because you can share the gospel with them. Well, that's not for me. That's not for me. There's another way to God. There's another way to God. Jesus is not the only way. They know their need. Their soul is crying out for God to fulfill that emptiness that's inside. They know that need already. And they're trying to fill it with everything else. But that need has to be replaced with desire. A person can be in need of something, but if they don't want it, they're not going to go get it. if they don't want it. Want outweighs need sometimes. Want squashes need sometimes. You can look at it at people who prioritize badly in their lives. Person can sit in the house knowing that the light bill is due. Need to pay that light bill. But I want to go buy some shoes. I need to pay my lights so that when I come home, I can see what's going on. So I can run my computer, my electricity bill. I need to pay that, but I want to go buy new shoes. Want is outweighing need. Want is outweighing need. When I was a kid, parents would give me a time to be home. Street lights.
Amen.
Street lights. I needed to be home before the street lights came on. I wanted to stay and hang out with my friends. So, want outweighed need to my detriment. That's all I'm going to say. Many times I tried to outrun them street lights. Failure. Epic failure. I was pretty fast, but I was not fast enough. Want outweighed need. Want outweighed need. And that's where the world finds itself today. I'm not even going to say the world. That's where a lot of us believers find ourselves today. We want everything else in our life, but we put Jesus off to the point where now we need. To where we're crying out, oh Lord, I need you. Where if we wanted him every day, if we wanted him the way we wanted all of those things that were distracting us from him, if we wanted Jesus the way we wanted all those other things, we wouldn't find ourselves in this place where we have to cry out, oh, I need you now.
Help us out, Pastor.
The need for Jesus, we all have need for Jesus. We all need him, without a doubt. Saved and unsaved alike. The unsaved need him to have relationship with him. We need him to help us stay in relationship. To help us stay in good standing in our relationship. So we need Jesus. That goes without saying how much we need him. But how much do we want?
All right.
That Savior.
All right.
How much do we want? We put God off to the point where everything that he is, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nissi, if we just wanted Abba Father every day, Jehovah Jireh comes with that. Jehovah Nissi comes with that. Jehovah Shalom comes with that. Jehovah Sekenu. All of it. Thank you. Because I was going to forget something. But all of that comes. If we want him first. If we want him first, then our need isn't as desperate. Desperate need, you know what? Situations, circumstances come, we can't control those. To where we might be put in a perilous position where we just need the Lord. We can't control that. We can't control that. And in that moment, he will manifest himself in a miraculous manner. But let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. The word is replete. The word is full of situations and circumstances where the want for God put people in a position where they needed God, and he showed up and a miracle happens. Because Daniel didn't want to fit in. Daniel didn't want the treasures of the king. He didn't want the best of the king. He wanted to please God. He wanted to not displease God. He wanted to honor God. And because he wanted to honor God, when that want put him in a position with the king to where he needed a miracle, guess what? That miracle happened.
Yes.
Daniel didn't have to run around in that lion's den, touching and praying over lions. Lord, keep his mouth shut. Daniel got down in that den and was chilling.
Jesus.
Because his want, his daily want for God, his desire, his want to honor God outweighed his want for the king's treasures. For the king's treasures. Were they in sin eating what the king wanted? No, they were not. Because it was offered. It was their sustenance. Daniel said, you know what? I'm going to do it differently. I want to honor God. I will not defile my body with what you have to offer. You don't serve my God. So I'm not going to defile my body with your best. I'm going to take what I choose to honor God. So that his want for God put him in a position where when he needed God, God showed up in a miracle. Showed up in a miracle. Coincidence? I think not. Those 3 Hebrew boys, their want for God, their daily want for God, desire to honor him, their want for him in their lives daily on a regular basis. The want put them in a position to need God in a miraculous way. And oh, did he not show up? Oh, did he not show up? That's only God. Undeniably God. To where the king said, turn the fire up 7 times hotter than what it normally is. Not like the fire wasn't going to kill him anyway. But you know what? I want it to go like that. So I'm going to order the fire 7 times harder. The fire was so hot that those who shoved him in, they died. They didn't even go in, but they were so close that when they shoved him in, they died from the heat. But their want for God, their daily, everyday want, desire to please God, to be in his presence, to honor him with their lives. When that want for him, that daily want, put them in a position to where they needed his miraculous presence, he showed up and showed out so hard that the king that threw them in called them out. The king that expected never to have to say their names again called them out of that fire. Their daily want for God put them in a position so that when they got thrown into that fire, the ropes that bound them were burned off. And they walked around in the fire, and they were not alone. For they said, I look in and I see 4. And one is as who? Yes. God showed up in such a way that he was undeniable to those who looked in and had to acknowledge him. Ooh, come on now. Even the king who demanded they be thrown in, demanded the fire 7 times hotter. The people who pushed them in died, but that didn't stop the king. He had to come down off his throne and look in himself to call them out. Disregarding the fact that this fire is hot. I can't get too close. I will die. Disregarded that when God showed up. 4 people, 2 examples of how your daily want for God. sustains you in such a way that when you get to the point where you really need God to manifest himself, he's going to show up in an unmistakable manner. And that unmistakable manner is going to drive those that were against you, the ones that ordered you into the fire, the one that ordered you thrown into the den, are going to be able to not do anything other than acknowledge God. Other than acknowledge God. You know what? The God that they serve, he's God now. He's God now. Get rid of all the others. They're not real. They're not real. A desire, a strong daily want for God. A want that says, you know what? Even though I saw him die, I'm going to sit outside the tomb. A want for God. A want for his presence. A want that says, you know what? He's not here, but I heard he's going to be over here. They say he's going to be over there. The angel said he's going to be over there. So they ran to tell the disciples. And that want to see Jesus, that want, that desire, he showed up early. He showed up early. You see, God is an on-time God. No, God is a when he needs to show up God. He's an on-time God because whenever he shows up, it's on time. It doesn't matter.
Say it. Say it.
He's on time. He's on time. Yes, he is. He is. His watch always says right now. It always says right now. Whenever he shows up, it's the right time. We can tell him exactly when we want him to show up. But if that time doesn't give him all honor and glory, then guess what? You're going to get overruled. You're going to get overruled. And you know what? Like I said, just like Jesus here, they didn't expect to see Jesus until they went into Galilee. They didn't expect to see Jesus until then. But they're just running to tell the disciples. And he shows up there. Oh, watch out now. Pleasant surprise. Pleasantly surprised by Jesus. And what brought him to that point? Their desire. Their desire. Stop telling God how much you need him. Because he knows how much you need him. That's why he sent Jesus. He saw the need. The need is there, we know. But now start telling God how much you want him. How much you want him. Because a want is so much different than need. We have the need, without a doubt. I'm not downplaying our need for God. No. Because that never goes away. We never, ever find ourselves void of needing God. But our want for God, our desire for him, our ability to press through any situation. As my wife shared earlier about the woman with the issue of blood, there were so many people thronging Jesus, touching, pulling. He's making his way through. So many people that it was ridiculous for him to ask, who touched me? Who touched me? If we all stood up and crowded together and somebody hit me, I'd have a pretty good idea. I can narrow it down real fast. But it was such a pull. And her desire was so strong. Yes, she had a need. Everybody in that crowd had a need. Everybody in that crowd had a need. Whether they were disciple, follower, looky-loo, whatever, skeptic, they all had a need for Jesus. But her desire, just to pull on the hem of his garment. Not swipe his forehead, not get all up in his face and have to tell her entire story, but to just touch the hem of his garment. And for what he was wearing, the hem, again, was low. So she risked. It was illegal for her to be out in public touching, making contact with unsick, healthy people, not unsick. Over there. Healthy people out there with people who aren't sick, people who don't have her affliction. It was an affliction of blood. She wasn't supposed to be out there touching anybody. She had a need. She could have sat in her house having that need all night long. All for the rest of her life. Having that need. But her desire brought her to Jesus. She heard he was coming. Oh, I gotta get some of that. I want. She knew her need. She knew her need. The need. I need to go. I need to get through this crowd. But I want to touch him. Because I want. So she pressed through where she shouldn't have been. Where it was illegal. Where it could have cost her life. Where it could have cost her life. But she pressed. But she pressed. And that touch, that desire, that draw, that demand had such a pull on Jesus. It pulled on his very virtue. To where he had to ask. He wasn't going to touch him. He was on his way somewhere. He had somewhere to be. He had somewhere to be. He was needed in another spot. But her desire halted his progress. Her desire. Just to touch the hem, her desire brought his face to her. We have to desire Jesus. We have to desire his presence. Desire, just want it so bad that we're willing to put everything aside. The last song we sang, more than anything, I love you more than anything, means that we will put aside all else. And we will put aside all else to get where he is. Because everyone, the desire, the two Marys sitting outside an empty tomb, sitting outside a tomb where a dead body was placed, they had a desire. Daniel had a desire to honor God. Three Hebrew boys had a desire to honor God. The woman with the issue of blood had a desire to get to Jesus. She had a need. Need did not push her. Desire for healing. Desire for deliverance. A desire. We have to want it. We have to want it from God. It's out there. If need was enough, the whole world would be saved. Because the whole world is in need of Jesus. The whole world is in need. The whole unsaved world, I'll say the whole unsaved world, just for an example right now, the whole unsaved world needs a relationship with God. But need doesn't get the job done. They have to desire it. They have to look at themselves. They have to look at a holy God and see that they are not eligible for relationship with him. But once they desire that relationship with him, once they desire the means by which we can have relationship with him, now that desire brings them into that position where they can receive our desire. We can sit in our house and need bread all day. All day long. We have all the meat, condiments, everything else, the fixings for the sandwich. And sit there and need bread all day. Oh, I need some bread. Just channel search. Need bread. But until you get yourself up, walk, drive, levitate, whatever, to get to the store to buy that bread, you're going to be sandwichless. Or it'll be carb free. Desire moves you. Desire moves you. Need lets you go. Need lets you go, but desire moves you. Desire God. Desire God. That which we desire, we seek after. God knows that. That's why he said, let's seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, And all these things shall be added unto you. God is seeking those who will worship him in spirit and in truth. He's seeking. He's not sitting waiting for us to come. He is seeking those who will worship him in spirit and in truth. God is looking for those who he can offer support to. He's looking for those that he can offer support to. Who needs support? Somebody standing needs support. Not somebody laying down. They don't need support. They might need a firm mattress. Offer support to the lower back. But they don't need help. They don't need help. Who stands needs God's support. Who's moving forward needs God's support. And that's who he's looking for. If you're down and you're seeking him, he's going to lift you up. If you desire him. That's why Jesus asked the man by the pool of Bethesda, wilt thou be made whole? Will you be made whole? Do you want to? Well, I got nobody to put me in the water. That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. He's looking for who he can support. He supports desire. He fulfills desire. He will give us the desires of our heart. He's already taken care of need. Need is already taken care of. We need a Savior taken care of already. It's up to us to desire it and go get it. We need deliverance. We have to desire deliverance for ourselves. We have to desire. We need the ability to make better decisions in our life. We need that. Yes, we do. We have to desire it. We have to go after it. We have to pursue it. We need, oh, Lord, we need more of you. Duh. Do you desire more of God? Wrong thing to do. I would look real silly telling people I need bread and I just go stand in the grocery store in the bread aisle, not grabbing bread. Looking at it. Boy, I sure need some bread. I need some bread. They got 50 different kinds of bread here. I can get flat bread, I can get wheat bread, I can get whole wheat, I can get whole grain, I can get white grain, I can get the little flat round bread, I can get all of that. Man, I need some bread. Woo! I need some bread, I need thee. Oh, wheat bread, I need thee. But until I grab a loaf and go pay for it, I'm getting no bread. I get no bread. Desire God. Desire God. He's looking to reveal himself. He's looking to deliver us. He's looking to do all of that. But it's going to come out of our want for him. It's going to come out of our desire for him. Today being Resurrection Sunday, again, he took care of every need. He took care of the needs. Now it's up to us and our desire. How much do we want God? How badly do we want God in our lives? How badly do we want the deliverance? How badly do we want to change in our life? How badly do we want? We can say all we want, how badly. But is it moving us? Is our desire moving us to where we need to be? Again, it would be real crazy of me to say how much I need bread and then go to AutoZone looking for bread. Can't get it done there. I have to go where I know the bread is. I have to be in a place where I know bread is. You have to be in a place where you know God is. Get up. Stop expecting God to come to where you are.
Jesus.
He's a good God. He is omnipotent, omniscient, and all-knowing. Omnipresent. He's everywhere. But unless you're seeking him, unless you're pressing into him because of your desire, you're missing. You're missing him. Sit at a bus stop all day. That bus is going to stop. Unless you haul yourself up off that bench and get on that bus, you're not going to get where you need to go. Get up off the bus stop and get on the bus. Go to where you know God is. If this is the place where you know he is, be here. Be here. We got plenty of chairs. We'll get more. But it's not about the chairs. It's about the presence of the Lord. The manifested presence of the Lord. Well, I don't need to go and be in the midst of everybody. Do not forsake the gathering. Do not forsake. God is not wasteful of his words. He's not wasteful of his intentions. Show yourself. Demonstrate your desire. Let your desire move you to the place where you need to be. And just like it could happen, just like it happened to the Marys, Jesus will show up before you get there. Greetings. How you doing? I did. However, he can show himself. He will show himself based on our desire. Amen. Give God some praise today. He's a worthy God.